Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. Let's drink some super weird whiskey.
Well, we continue to try to find the absolute perfect place to record in this place that we've rented through the end of the year here in Chicago. Some oddball sort of rooms and layouts and things. We're doing the best we can, so we hope this looks and sounds okay. We even broke out the old lighting kit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Anything to please our Bourbon Van family. That's really what we're all about here. And one other thing that you can do, that we can do to please the family here, is encourage you to sign up for our Advent tournament, which is coming up very, very soon. You go to thebourbonvan.com, you fill out Julie's bracket, you fill out my bracket, and you win, potentially, a bottle of cask strength Still Austin whiskey, one of 4 bottles that Still Austin is so generously donating to the tournament. You do not have to be a Patreon to play, but if you are a Patreon, you double your chances to win. Go to thebourbonvan.com, fill out your bracket before December 3. Takes no time at all. So easy, so fun, and you're not going to want to miss the Advent tournament. Don't miss a day of it. The most excitement you'll have on WhiskeyTube all year long. I'm not going to guarantee that.
Nope.
I'm just going to say that I enjoyed making it. I think you did too.
Yeah.
And we hope that you enjoy watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Now let's get to the weird whiskey that we're going to drink today. This is a gift from our friend Mary S.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you so much. And Mary, she gave us this because, well, I think a couple of reasons. Number one,
She wanted to know what we thought about it.
yeah, exactly. That's number one. But number two is her friend and our friend, Kurt from SLB Drinks, says he very much enjoys this bottle. Mm-hmm. Mary doesn't enjoy this bottle. I think she's trying to figure out which one of these channels has the weirdest taste buds.
Probably ours.
I think she's pitting us against Kurt in some ways. No, that's not true. It's just good friends enjoying whiskey and sharing them amongst each other. And this is definitely something interesting that I can't imagine we ever would have thought to purchase this for ourselves.
Right.
This is Balcones, Texas, Cataleja, Texas single malt. This is their 15th anniversary bottle. Single malt made with 100% Golden Promise malted barley, first aged in refill casks, then in a variety of decommissioned sherry, solera, puncheons, moscatel, amontillado dulce, oloroso, and palo cortado. Easy for me to say, right?
Easy for you to say. So this bottle's been pretty polarizing. People seem to either love it or hate it. You're a big Balcones fan. You love Texas whiskey.
Yeah.
Let's see what I have to say about it. Maybe.
Absolutely. And I'm not always the hugest Balcones fan. The bourbon and rye I haven't been a huge fan of, although I do enjoy it. Their American single malt, though, I think is a special whiskey, and I do love it. So 59% alcohol. What is that, 118 proof?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well, we've gotten into it a little bit because, and we're going to tell you some of the tasting notes that people have found so polarizing on this bottle, but we've gotten into it because we didn't want to just do a cork pop and a tasting. This is something that we think needed some time to open up. And we needed to honestly taste it a few times and gain some experience with this bottle because it is very complex, super complicated, and we're going to get to the nose now. This is the part I think freaks people out the most.
So ironically, the first time that we had this, I totally got what Mary was saying. Mm-hmm. She was mentioning that she sometimes can get a little sulfur on this. Mm-hmm. Little of that like stinky egg that you might get when you go to, it's not a hot spring, but
that sort of thing,
like the hot pots or whatever they're called.
Absolutely. Yeah, not every time that I go to this glass, but a couple of times when we've opened it, I've gotten a whiff of, up in Northern California, you go to Lassen National Park, there's a place called Bumpus Hell. Yeah. And it's a bunch of these hot pots just spitting sulfuric gases up into the air. It's not a nose or a smell that I've ever loved. It's not a smell I've ever liked, but I'm not sure it's a smell I've ever hated either. Right. But I do understand why people would absolutely hate that smell of sulfur.
And right now, this smells lovely. So I don't know if it's opened up a little bit more, but there's a creaminess to it. There's a richness. It's like caramely. There's a little bit of a cider note to it. Very oaky.
I think the char is very interesting. And I think that the sherry presence here is enormous. And if you've never tried sherry before, if you're not sure what to expect with it, this is a bottle that's going to blow your hair back a little bit. it's pretty intense.
Yeah, and for me, that is like an undertone.
Mm-hmm.
So once I kind of sit with it a little bit, that aroma kind of wafts up, and that's where I get that sherry finish on the nose.
Well, it is something that I think is not going to appeal to everybody,
Yeah.
but it is very interesting. This is, we haven't even gotten to the palate yet, and I'm going to tell you that if you go find this at a bar, it is a try before you buy,
Yes.
I think, especially if you're not a Texas whiskey fan, you know who you are. This is going to be a polarizing bottle just based on the nose. Would you like to sip it?
I would love to.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks again, Mary. Well, this tastes quite different than when I had it before. To me, this is very grilled pineapple right now.
Yeah, well, I completely agree on that, yeah.
I keep waiting for that funk, that note that I know people don't like. I don't know if it's just maybe the time of day. It has opened up right at the shoulders of the bottle, just a little bit below the shoulders.
Yeah.
That is always like a time where I think that the whiskey is great.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's where we find that we enjoy it the most.
Yeah. First sip, very enjoyable,
Yeah.
but all I'm getting is like those grilled fruits right now. Very single malty, but in a gentle, nice way. Or maybe I'm just getting used to drinking single malts.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I think that there is some experience factor with a whiskey like this. It's a 15th anniversary bottle. Different distilleries are going to do things a little differently. You think about the Jimmy Russell 70th anniversary bourbon that was released this year. 101 proof, 8 years aged, very approachable, easy to like, very affordable. This bottle we've seen in the neighborhood of $125, so it's not cheap to begin with, but that huge proof and everything that's gone into it, obviously the distiller is a sherry lover.
Yeah.
That's how you wind up with these huge flavors. The journey I've been on here, I took one sip, and every time I return to this bottle, I find something different in it. And I do enjoy it for the most part. This time, the first sip was road tar. That was the first thing that I got was road tar. And then it just kind of shifted through all those other flavors. But the grilled, you said pineapple.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of an apricot that's almost like
Yes.
a juice. The best way that I can describe this whiskey, the thing that compels me the most about it, it's juicy in the weirdest possible way. But I like it.
And I agree with you on that, but also that sherry finish, it is kind of a dry note that you can get on the upper back palate. So like under the roof of your mouth, that sherry finish kind of like coats the roof of your mouth up there. So you're getting all like the juicy flavors like on your tongue and your taste buds and on the finish, but like there is something dry. I would assume it's that sherry note that just kind of like hangs around.
And you're absolutely right on where it hits you. Right on the back of the palate, the roof of your mouth there, the tingle hits, and it's super dry, but the flavor is that sort of apricot.
Yeah.
Something about it. It's like a dried apricot, isn't it? Are those the dried fruits that they almost have the texture of a tongue?
Yeah, they're kind of weird. They're like a little rough on the edges, but then
mushy and
kind
squishy.
of. It's a weird texture.
Okay, well this whiskey is evocative of that sort of squishy, dried apricot sort of thing happening. I can see exactly why people would be very, very gun shy on this bottle, but it's been a very interesting sip. Every time we've approached it, we've come away with a totally different experience.
Yeah.
I think for a 15th anniversary offering, Balcones has done something really interesting here. It seems like they've scratched an itch.
Yeah.
They've provided a whiskey that for $125, it is a thinker. It is something to share with friends, and it's a discussion piece, quite honestly. Do I think that it's the whiskey of the year? I don't think so. I think you'd have to have a really specific palate, and you'd have to have a really well-trained palate to find enough flavors in this and identify enough flavors. I do think that there's a ton to explore here, and for that reason, I do think that even at that elevated price point, if you have a seasoned palate, if you like American Single Malt, and if you like Texas whiskey, I think that this is something you have to try. Super, super interesting whiskey.
Yeah, and I will also add in the note that if you've tried it already and you were like, not for me, try it again. Because when Mary approached us with this bottle, she kind of talked about the things that she was unsure about and what she liked about it, but what she really didn't like about it. And I kept that in mind as we drank it the first time, and I was getting some of those like weird notes. Like I was like, oh, I really like this, and then all of a sudden like that punch of sulfur would come in. I was like, oh, I totally understand what she's getting. This time around, I'm really enjoying it. Like, I'm getting that grilled fruit note. I'm getting that sherry. It's got all the flavors that you would expect from a single malt. I'm really enjoying it this time around. So if you have the bottle and you're like, ugh, I'm just going to put that on the back of the shelf and not drink it, try it again, because I enjoyed it the first time, but I'm really enjoying it this time around.
Yeah, I can honestly say it weirded me out once or twice, but it's never been something that I've disliked. I've always enjoyed the sip. By the way, sip 3 there, just a wash of butterscotch.
Oh, nice.
And it's hanging around, and I'm a butterscotch fanatic. Balcones Cataleja. I have no idea if I'm saying that right.
Sounds good.
But they really went for it with this one, and kudos to them for producing such a odd whiskey, but they went for it on their 15th anniversary.
I love it.
What more can you ask of an American distillery? Let's celebrate these distilleries that are putting out big flavors and rewarding those of us who are excited about American single malt whiskey. We're really getting there, everybody. Well, I had to say thank you to Mary once again.
Yeah, thank you.
What an amazing experience to taste this bottle. Thank you to Kurt from SLB Drinks for encouraging us to enjoy this bottle.
I bet it was okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to all of you for joining us on the journey here. And we're going to sign off from Chicago right after we remind you one last time to go and fill out your brackets. Time is running out. Go do it. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. I dig it.
Yeah, the tobacco's there now. That's nice.